recording. Oh my gosh, we have so many people doing so many awesome things today. You guys are set up like nobody's business. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting right on time at exactly 12 noon on the East Coast and various times all across the world. So we've got so many wonderful speakers. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for today. I cannot even believe it. And I have the great pleasure of emceeing this event. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to get out your paper and your pen or pencil to take notes, because the people that are going to speak with you today are successful. They're fun. Of course, they have to be fun because I love the word fun and I love fun. So they're exciting and they are super, super successful here at Longevity. So you guys, pen, paper, let's take some notes. Okay, let's get started. So our very first, oh, good job, Dave. And Dave is brand new. He just joined us yesterday. Dave, welcome. Welcome, Dave. That's awesome. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the very first speaker. He's a really good friend of mine. He and his wife are. They joined Longevity in 2013, so a while ago. He's been married for 10 years to his absolutely beautiful wife, Anna. They have 5 sweet, darling kids, and they're between the ages of 8 years old all the way down to 3 months. Oh my gosh, she has 3 girls and 2 boys. Okay, 3 girls and 2 boys. This wonderful gentleman grew up on an organic dairy farm. He was homeschooled, and he still lives in the state of Wisconsin. He plays gospel, acoustic bluegrass music with his band. So he actively does that still. And he decided that he really wanted to spend time with his family, and that when Longevity came along, he really dove head first into Longevity and building an awesome business here. And he really became an excellent student, and he learned so many things, and he was able to walk away. You guys, this is huge. He was able to walk away from his full-time farming job in just 1 year. And in that 1 year, he went 4-star. So, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So something that people, or that you may not know about this gentleman, is that he played competitive table tennis. I had no idea, for 2 years in tournaments all throughout the United States. Oh my gosh, that is so fantastic. And his favorite product is Cherry Mints. And with that, I want to introduce you to Noah Siegmann.
Morning, Cheryl. Thanks so much. I think you bring the level of fun up times 10. We're talking to the room.
Well, we're so glad to have you. I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away.
Sounds great. Okay, glad to be here. This is a really cool event, and it's really neat to see everybody tuning in from all over the world. I was honored to be asked, and I'm going to tell you my story real quick. I know we've got short chunks amount of time to actually get this all out, because there are so many incredible speakers that are coming up. Thanks for putting me on first. It makes planning easier when you got a family in the house. So everyone's like leaving me alone right now because I'm in this room by myself. So hopefully the doors behind me don't open up and there's a bunch of kids everywhere. We'll see how it goes. Before we begin, real quick, I'm starting my timer as well. I want to make sure we keep things rolling where they need to go. There's something that I learned once many years ago when I was just starting my journey into network marketing and personal development and business. And that was, you get as much out of an event as you decide to get out of it. So there were times when I was just getting started where I would maybe show up to an event and maybe I would think, man, I don't really feel like going down to sit in that session, or I don't feel like getting on that conference call because of this, that, or something else that's going on in my life. But then I had a mentor who told me what I just told you, which was you get out as much as you want to, or decide to get out. And what I found interesting is whenever I decided to get something out of whatever I was tapping into, it worked and I got a lot out of it. So I hope you looked at the lineup of people that are going to be sharing today from their experience. We're not going to be talking theories today. We're not going to be talking about things that just sound great. The only thing I'll be talking about today are things that I've done or things that I'm currently doing that are working. And I think the same goes, as I looked at who else was coming up to speak, it's the same for every other person that they brought on. And today is a business building call Zoom. So Cheryl said it really well. You get your pen out, you get your pad out. We have short amounts of time. I've got a lot to pack in my 17 minutes. So pay attention, okay? Decide to get a lot out of today for the next 3 hours, and you will be rewarded. So that's my advice for you as we begin, okay? So for those of you who've never, I've never had the chance to meet, we did join, Cheryl said it well, end of 2013 after farming full time. I grew up on that farm, and I just decided that being married to, 85 cows and a couple of tractors was not as nice as being married to my lovely wife. And I was spending more time away from Anna, my wife, and now we have 5 kids, which is crazy for me to believe because it seems like it just happened that quick. But I just decided that the priorities I had in my life were more important than what job I was doing. And just because you're raised a certain way, many people never make the decision to maybe try something else. And nobody in my family had really done that. And so it was kind of a big step. But, when you meet someone that you can lock arms with, and someone who can show you the ropes, someone who's been down the path before, and someone who you trust with your life, you start believing you can do it. And when you have that support, it makes all the difference. And that for me was Scott Fardulis. So many of you have met him. I don't think he's speaking today, but he has made all the difference for me over the past 6 or 7 years. And we've become great friends, and he's become the mentor that I had been looking for a long time. So I followed his advice, and I became an incredible student, learning and doing what I was told. And I chased my dream, right, for that freedom that I so desperately wanted. And like Cheryl said, it did work out kind of like I had hoped it would, but not really sure it would. And I kind of jumped off the building back in the early days without knowing how to fly. But I trusted someone who told me they would teach me how to fly before I hit the ground. And it did work. So I'm so grateful. The last 5-6 years of my life, I've been able to be based at home, and I've been present with my family, with Anna, and we homeschool the kids. So we're both home. We tag team those, and we live out in the country, planted our garden a couple days ago. We just love being together. And last thing about me, and I'll get into the topic that I'm supposed to be talking about today, but I want you to understand who I am and why I'm doing this, was that Anna and I made a decision back before we even got married. So 2008, 2009, we looked at each other and we said, you know what? Someday children are going to sorrow. So what you do now, not after they're a teenager, but what you do from before they're 5 years old and before that, that's what's going to make all the difference, the foundation you lay. We took that to heart, so we poured ourselves into our kids. And it is paying off. We are enjoying life so much. And I'm so grateful for Dr. Wallach. I'm so grateful for Steve and Michelle Wallach for, I guess, just the sacrifice they made for someone like me without any really experience or background in this industry to be able to come in, jump onto the platform, hop into the car and be able to drive it without having to understand how everything worked. And it did work. So grateful. We're here for life. And I'm excited because we have a new thing. So I'm going to be talking about the healthcare plans. Some of you may not be familiar with those. If you're not based in the U.S., it's okay because there's an application for you as well, which you will hear in just a few minutes. I'm going to go over a couple of quick things on what makes our plans so powerful. And then I'm going to show you how we are marketing those plans very successfully right now. So the Freedom Healthcare Plans is through our services division over at David Allen Capital. Scott Fardulis had an integral part in bringing those to longevity. And he called me and he told me about it right away. And what we're excited about is we all have the answers to building strong bodies and building strong immune systems through longevity, right? We know the 90 for life. We know the vitamins and the minerals. We know all of that is going to work in, let's just say, a proactive sense, where we've all heard it, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's probably what we're based off of. Build yourself up so you don't need to worry about the worst case scenarios that can come up, right? With disease and illness. However, sometimes that stuff happens. Sometimes accidents occur. Sometimes cars crash. Who knows? A number of things can happen. Look around you. And when you look and you see how high the percentages of Americans, especially, who file for bankruptcy, it's because of they have a health challenge and their insurance either doesn't cover it or they don't have any. And they end up in a really bad place. So we, Scott and David Allen Capital and some of the people over there, they brought these healthcare plans to our company. And now we have both sides of the coin. We have proactive healthcare, building up your body, and we also have some reactive healthcare. So if the worst case scenario happens, if something occurs that's beyond your control and you find yourself in the hospital needing care, we have that solution. I'm so pumped. When I heard about this, it took me a little while to understand the concept. Once I understood it, I ran with it. I learned what I could, and we started going. So we have these plans. I'm going to give you a couple of quick bullet points on these Freedom Healthcare plans, on why they're so compelling for yourselves. We all should certainly be on them, and why they're so compelling for others, and why we're excited, and why our business has been growing during a pandemic rather than being stagnant or shrinking like so many other people that are experiencing right now, tragically. So get your pens out, get your pads out. Here we go. Bullet point number one. The costs for these healthcare plans are pretty low. I'll just say they're affordable. If you look around the marketplace and what's available, I commonly talk to people and we save them, not making any claims, but I know this to be a fact. I'll give you a broad number. We save people between, let's say 15 and 60% of what they're currently spending on healthcare. That's crazy. In a day and age when margins are shrinking and budgets are tight, that's a breath of fresh air. But you don't sacrifice anything because of that cost difference here. Because guess what else? No deductibles, everybody. You don't have a deductible. There's no threshold of medical bills you have to incur before you start getting coverage. That's unheard of today in this industry, right? Number three, pre-existing conditions exclusions. We don't have them. So we don't want you to be stopped from getting care if you've had a challenge in the past or you don't have any coverage right now. I'm not going into any details on these. I just want you to understand this is insane when it comes to what's normally out there. Ask someone about healthcare, they'll immediately cloud over and say, I don't like my healthcare because they're paying too much and they don't use it. And their deductibles are so high that why should they even have it, right? I'm not going into all the statistics, but you might want to look into it. Number four, we even have some catastrophic plans you can add on to some of these freedom plans that take your coverages into the very, very high dollar limits for like worst case scenario things. This is not a training on the healthcare plans itself. I'm just letting you know this is why they're so exciting, okay? And then the last point that I'm going to bring up, we have our network is the PHCS network that we use. So if you could ever pick a network, this would be it. It's one of the largest networks in America. So all 50 states, okay? It's incredible. You're going to find someone who's in the network in your local area, all right? It's amazing no matter where you live. Okay, so why are these so exciting? Why are they working? Why is our business growing? Because guess what else we have the ability to do? Aside from putting that security on ourselves and our families from having coverage with these plans, we get to market these to businesses. We get to market these to companies, to people who have employees who depend on them for healthcare coverage. If you know anything about that side of the coin, a lot of you don't. I didn't a year ago, no idea. I knew nothing about the industry because I didn't want to. I didn't like it, right? I just kind of wanted to think I had coverage and kick it under the rug and hopefully I never had to use my insurance, right? Well, guess what? It became exciting to learn about it because small businesses in America are being strangled by healthcare costs. Strangled. They can't afford it. Either they can't offer it or they're paying so much, it's hurting them. And every year their costs go up, their plans do not get better. Well, we can come into a company, we can give them a free quote and we can save them a lot of money by starting a group plan. The reason this is significant to you is because we pay you to open those doors. So here's what it looks like. 3 things you do to build this business when it comes to approaching a business owner and potentially onboarding them into these plans. Here's what I'm doing right now. Here's what I'm training my team to do. Here's what they're doing. And it doesn't take a lot of training to get you started. Many of you know Alex Tice, great friend, great trainer. He's a part of our company, does a lot behind the scenes, more than you'll ever know. He said something once. He said, when you sign somebody up, when you get someone started, your first order of business is to get them paid and get them a check, right? They're going to hang around if they're getting paid. This is the most bulletproof auto ship I've ever seen. Here's what we do. Ready? 3 things, 3 steps to onboarding a business and getting paid. Step number 1 is you ask. You all know someone who owns a business, or you know someone who is high up in a company who knows the owner or the decision maker for a business. So guess what? You ask them, what do you do for healthcare for your employees? What do you do? And you know what? They're going to tell you because they're painfully aware of what they do. They'll tell you, ask a couple of questions, find out, what do they pay every month? What are their deductibles? And then guess what? Step number 2 is you edify someone else who's an expert on this topic, not you, because you're not a licensed insurance agent, are you? Nope, neither am I. But you don't have to be, because you are not selling these plans to these people. You're simply opening the door. You're saying, I know somebody who I believe could save you a lot of money on your healthcare costs for your company and offer you most likely a better plan or better coverages than you currently have. Would you be interested in meeting my good friend, Scott Fardulis, for example? I believe he could do that for you. And then you listen to their response. In the time that I've done this, I've never been shut down or the door closed when I did this. Every single person I've ever spoken with has been open to that conversation because they're trying to run a business. I'm going to go really fast here. You edify someone else. We have an amazing home office. If you go to dachhealthcare.com, you'll see a phone number there for our home office. However, reach out to your upline or someone you know who has some knowledge on these. We will come in and we will talk to that business owner or that decision maker on your behalf. So you ask them what they're doing, find out a little bit. Number 2, you edify a third party. It makes a lot of sense to edify a third party in the health insurance world, doesn't it? Absolutely. And then number 3 is you connect that person to the expert, and then you back away and you're done. Okay. You're done. And if they onboard their company into DAC Healthcare, into what we have with these freedom plans, which is happening every week, every month, you know what happens? Every employee that is part of that company, you get paid a commission on their plan, kind of like an auto ship. Every month that shows up, and it's in part of our compensation plan. There's a retail payout, and there's also the percentage payouts that go down the levels. I'm not getting into that either today because it doesn't matter. All that matters is when you onboard a company or 2 or 3 or 4, that's solid income that's coming in because they're happy with their coverage that they have. They're not stopping. So true story. Here's just a quick example because I'm running short on time. I met someone. I had a chip in my windshield in my van. I was in there getting that chip fixed. Started chatting with the manager at the auto glass repair specialist place. Long story short, I invited him to a conversation because he was open with me with the fact that he was looking for other options. We developed a relationship. He joined Longevity. He actually bought a CEO pack. You're going to be hearing about those today too. He bought a CEO pack. He then heard about these healthcare plans and he said, I know people that would be all over this if they had an opportunity to learn. I said, great. Why don't you open a door for me? So guess what? He calls someone who owns a body shop. Let's just say, I think there were 6 employees there. He opened the door. We came in. We had 2 conversations with the decision maker of this body shop. This body shop decided to onboard all 6 employees plus themselves. Well, guess what happens? My new guy His name was Mark. He's a real person. He's still a friend of mine. He may be on the Zoom right now. He opened the door. Every month, he gets a check right now for opening that door. Because he did that, the company, there's my alarm. The company is thrilled to death. He's happy because he gets a check every month. Isn't that cool? This is the epitome of working smart, everyone. I hope you understand the power of this. 1 or 2 or 3 conversations, it may take a month or 2 for it to happen, but if you, in a classy way, pass these prospects or these people into the hands of a professional or someone who can answer their questions and walk through a quote, it's so simple. It's brilliant. So that's just what I wanted to say. I think I'm basically out of time. All I can tell you is we are onboarding companies every month right now. We're excited. Reach out to someone. Go to dachhealthcare.com if you'd like to learn more. We have both sides of the coin. I'm so grateful for Steve Wallach for seeing that this could be a powerful part of our company, and it just rounds out everything else we have. We're filling in all the gaps. You can build your home here. Get out there and talk to people. Be a human being. Tom talks about it all the time. Ask them how their company's doing right now during this pandemic, and if they'd like to spend less on their healthcare than they are now. I guarantee you they're going to want to learn more, and it's so much fun. So I am out of time. Thanks for the opportunity to speak, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your event, and I hope you learn a lot for the rest of the day.